They never knew what sobriety was.
Former Trump economic advisor Stephen Moore, not Stephen Miller, different guys, but Stephen Moore was on Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday night, and they got into a bit around vaccines and government overreach and all of those things. And you know, Bill obviously has woken up to a lot of this stuff, and I thought Stephen made a good point here. Let's throw to that little Monday with Maher bumper.
But I also believe, Bill, that the reason there's been a bit of a backlash against vaccines is because the government was forcing people to take vaccines.
Correct.
And that,
yes,
that is something I'm against.
And also not putting any stock in natural immunity.
Yep.
Even if you had the disease, you still had to get the vaccine,
right.
And also giving it to 2-year-olds who would never outrageous.
Yes.
So there was stuff to be done. Do any of us really think that putting kids on all these drugs when they're young doesn't have an effect? That isn't part of the problem with why there are school shootings and kids doing crazy things? Of course it is. I remember Ariana Huffington coming on our show the first year talking about Prozac. That was the issue that made her famous. Right. She was right then, it's right now. We put kids on drugs way too early, way too often, and then we wonder why they're using street drugs when they're 20, because they never knew what sobriety was.
They definitely would have put me on Ritalin if they had Ritalin back then, because I was bouncing out the walls.
Isn't it great what these crazy people have done to Bill Maher? I mean, not only have you taken the liberal and woken him up, and now he's, you know, breaking bread with Trump and all of those things, but you take a guy who loves his substances. He loves his booze and his weed and God knows what else, and you have him there, in essence, defending sobriety. He's defending the idea that you don't drug these kids, but of course, like, why would you think, you watch any commercial on television for any prescription drug, you have restless leg syndrome? Well, we'll give you a pill, and next thing you know, you're gonna have thoughts of suicide and diarrhea and vomiting, and then suddenly, like, you're like, boy, I wish I had that restless leg syndrome. Like, we all know this, right? Every one of these psychotropic drugs. Do you have a imaginary, fictitious cartoon cloud following you throughout the day? Get on Prozac, and then when you get on Prozac, then they tell you got to get on the other one, then the other one, and the other. It's like, you think this might be doing something to people? And then if you do it to kids, and then we wonder what's going on here. So it's super interesting to me that he's then connected that to school shootings, because yes, it is far more of a mental health crisis than of anything to do with guns. If you take a mentally healthy person, whether they are young or old, and you hand them a gun, they would not go into a school and randomly shoot people.